Well, we did Toon Disney, and then we did Cartoon Fridays. Now let's round out this little epic trilogy of reviews with a Nickelodeon-based channel, Nicktoons Network.
With the channel's launch in 2002, Nicktoons Network, or as it was originally called Nicktoons TV, was supposed to be a commercial-free version of Nickelodeon. But they said screw that in 2005 and they started showing advertisement.
Like most Nick channels, the logo went through various different iterations.
Me personally, I watched Nicktoons from its 2005 to 2009 era.
It was at this point the channel started airing a lot of older Nickelodeon brand shows, as well as airing shows that originated from Canada, a practice that a lot of channels, specifically animation channels, do at some point or another.
As for the retro shows that they did air, it would definitely please all the Nickelodeon junkies in the audience.
They aired a bunch of shows that ended years ago, or shows that Nick just recently stopped airing, so it was kind of like a home for Nick shows without a home.
One of the biggest things that sucked about the network, though, is that if you wanted to watch all the old school shows, you'd have to wake up till at least 3 o'clock in the morning to watch them.
Granted, they aired them up until 8 o'clock in the morning, but come on, who's gonna wake up that early to watch Nickelodeon?
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
It's funny because SpongeBob, they would usually air from like 1 to 5 on the network. So, what about the original shows that they did have on the block that weren't specifically Nickelodeon based?
Shorts in a Bunch was a variety show. Some skits were based on popular Nick shows.
Sulker, shouldn't you be doing something fun or manly?
Pay attention, simpleton. This is a water filtration device. See, your filthy swamp water sits in this hollowed-out pumpkin, then the sunlight makes the water evaporate, leaving behind the swampy impurities.
Some were made by Nick show creators.
All right, listen up. I may be small, but up here, I have got it all. All right, nobody is gonna stop this party.
And others were made by a couple of Randys.
While it's not the best variety show out there, I can definitely respect Nickelodeon for trying something different by having a bunch of different shorts that they could intertwine.
The Secret Show was a UK cartoon that was aired on the BBC, but they aired it on Nicktoons anyway. My personal thoughts, it wasn't the best show. The animation for a Flash cartoon was very lackluster, but I can look past animation. The writing itself I thought was pretty funny, a very tongue-in-cheek, fourth wall breaking kind of show. I liked it. From what I remember, it was a decent cartoon at best. Not the world's greatest, but I've seen worse. Kappa Mikey was considered by many to be one of the first official Nicktoon original shows. The show was about a teenager named Mikey who was the leader of a hero league, which mostly did just a bunch of sitcom-y style things. You'll notice that the animation on each character is a different style of anime.
So it's kind of like Drawn Together, but with anime. And it doesn't suck.
Okay, that was kind of a bad analogy. Here's a better one. Think of this show as kind of like the Justice Friends cartoon from Dexter's Laboratory. A bunch of superheroes are put into a bunch of domestic sitcom-y situations, except instead of comic book heroes, it's anime characters this time. While I didn't watch the show as religiously as other people may have, I did get a couple chuckles out of the show while it was on.
But like most of these Nicktoons, it ended very, very shortly. After 2 seasons, Kappa Mikey was down for the count. Yeah. So, what show are we looking at next? Oh, yes! Yes!
Based on a series of books, Edgar and Ellen chronicles 2 macabre twins named Edgar and Ellen. They live in a creepy mansion next to a junkyard with their pet eyeball, hairy octopus thing named Pet, and this landscaper guy.
You wanna know how I got these scars?
The twins get their kicks out of pranking the neighboring town of Nod's Limbs with their various devious contraptions.
And yet, never once did you hear them say, it's just a social experiment, bro.
And the whole reason they prank this town? Because it's boring. Yeah, that's about it. They just prank it because it's boring. And whenever they prank the town, they think that they're bringing life to it.
Actually, come to think of it, no one in the town really reacts to their pranks, except for this, like, one girl.
Good luck. The show's in 2 days. Later, losers.
One thing I really did admire about the show was its style.
The color scheme, the designs, even down to the look. The townspeople have a very slightly realistic look versus Edgar and Ellen have more of a cartoonish look to them. Reminds me of that Justin Roiland cartoon, The Unmarketables.
The best way I can describe the show is if someone had to make an overly cutesy family animated show in Flash, and then all of a sudden Tim Burton came along and made it better. That's probably the best way I could describe Edgar and Ellen. And as for the next show we're going to be looking at, it was also really good. It was called Making Fiends. What is it about? Well, let the theme song explain.
Once there was a little girl, the girl who could make fiends. She kept the whole town terrified, the girl who could make fiends. Then there came another girl who wanted to be friends. Vendetta cannot stand her, so she plots her end. Making fiends, Vendetta's always making fiends while Charlotte makes friends.
Based on a web series of the same name, Making Fiends is about a small, eerie town named Clamberg, oppressively run by an evil little girl named Vendetta. She rules with an iron fist and an army of monstrous creatures named fiends. It seems that everyone in the world fears her, except for a sweet little blue girl named Charlotte who comes to town.
You look like a monkey. Monkeys don't wear shoes. Monkeys never use their wallets, 'cause they don't have any.
So the rest of the show is Vendetta trying to fulfill her life goal of eradicating Charlotte from the face of the earth. It's your typical Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner style scenario, and boy was it hilarious. While it doesn't look the same, this show bears a lot of similarities to Edgar and Ellen, the tone especially. The tone is a very dark, creepy style going for it, and God does it work in the show's favor. The designs I always liked. Everyone has a specific color. Most of the townspeople have drabber colors, Vendetta is a sickly green, and whenever Charlotte's on screen, the colors get brighter and happier.
Another similarity between these two shows is that they didn't really stick to the whole 2 11-minute episode format. Edgar and Ellen actually had 3 episodes aired at once in the 22-minute time span, and Making Fiends episodes usually range from 7 minutes. And they actually had a bunch of short vignettes, most of which being either short sketches or musical numbers.
Welcome to my satchel room. It holds all my prank materials, and I protect it very seriously.
Cheese is better with your best friend. Cheddar's nicer when they're at home. Cheese is best when you can share. Squeeze is better with me and you.
I always like these short segments because it reminds me of more nostalgic cartoons like Animaniacs or Dexter's Laboratory, where not every episode had to be a cognitive story, but sometimes it could just be a short skit that the animators did for fun.
But what's really crazy, both of these shows only lasted a total of 1 season.
Yeah, both of these shows. 1 season, and they dropped like flies. Nick, you want us to like you, right?
A lot of people like these shows. Why'd you pull them off so fast?
You stupid brain-dead monkeys. Well, okay. That's Nicktoons Network, and honestly, despite some of its flaws, I still have fond memory of it.
Yes, the times were pretty bad. It's crazy that they ended shows that a lot of people were liking way too soon. But for what it's worth, the shows were still really good, and before we had the splat, this was the place we could go to if we wanted to watch some old-school Nickelodeon classics.
And that, my dear friends, brings an end to the trilogy of retro channel reviews. I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough. Hey kid, did you know that that Nicktoons thing you were just talking about? They had what is it you kids call it? That they had WWE and the NFL. Did you know that they actually have that? NFL and WWE was on Nicktoons Network? How did I not know of this?
Not just cartoons. Arnold, Helga, Phoebe, Gerald, Sid, Grandpa, Stinky, Harold, SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, keep the Krabby Patties handy. Squidward, Tito, Twister, Reggie, Rocket, Otto's sister, Ginger, Hoodsy, Carl, Macy, Junior High School life is crazy. Not just cartoons.
We're Nicktoons.
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 Grandma sings, Pelvic rolls. Cat and dog have separate bowls. Invader Zim and Mrs. Bitters giving Div a case of jitters.